Anyway, our speaker this morning is someone that is, well, first of all, let's talk about what the theme's been all month. Most of you know that, but if you haven't been here all month, the theme this month has been about creating community. And as I was putting together the speakers for this month, the name that came to mind right away was Tina. I've known Tina for quite a few years, and to me, she is someone who is always creating community. Whether it be just with 2 or 3 people gathering in her classes, in her workshops, but mostly in her presence. She has been leading and organizing the Peace Walk for the last 6 years, which you can imagine is quite an awesome job in the sense of its size and its magnitude, and we're very thankful for that gift that she brings. And this morning, she's going to talk to us about community and how she sees community and what it brings. And just as I was coming up, she mentioned that yesterday on the Peace Walk, they sang that song and twice on the Peace Walk. So just having people realize that our purpose is living fully. Our purpose is sharing and being peace. So let's give a warm unity welcome to Tina Thrussell.
Thank you for that warm welcome. It's always a great, great honor to share with my Unity community. To step out of the pew and onto the stage means a lot to me. And today's talk is particularly meaningful because community means so much to me. And you know, I actually honestly didn't realize how much community means to me until I started to prepare this talk. And I thought about what can I say about community, and I actually started to cry thinking, this is probably the deepest passion in my heart. To really bring people together in this way is so, so important. And it's so important that I'm standing here before you today while my husband is in jail. Oh, don't worry, I'm not going to pass the hat. It's not a fundraiser. You can keep your wallets closed. Before I tell you why he's in jail, I want to tell you how I define community. Community is people of common values coming together with a common purpose. To develop as individuals to become the best version of ourselves, and to work together as a community to make the world a better place. This is how I define community. And I'm pretty sure my husband would agree, which explains why he's in jail today. So, Neil is in jail today to experience community. Seriously, really, he is actually right now, as I speak, at a minimum security prison in Massachusetts, which used to be known as the Hobbema Reserve. And he is there with a number of men from the Mankind Project. We refer to the Mankind Project as MKP. And MKP is been dubbed the community, the men's community for the 21st century. They're a nonprofit training and education organization with 3 decades of proven success, providing life-changing, experiential, personal development programs for men. And the blanket exercise specifically, which the men are there at Massachusetts in the prison for, is an interactive activity designed to build understanding about our shared history as Indigenous and non-Indigenous Canadians. They will walk through the pre-contact, the treaty making, the colonization, and the resistance that happened in our history. For Neil and all the other men who are there in the prison today, it's going to be a hard look at a difficult subject in a really tough environment. But they're there in this experience together to build an understanding and an empathy. They are there to grow and expand as men and to take their growth and that empathy into the world. It's okay, they're only there for a few hours and we get to go home. I will see him tonight. It's okay. Now, this... thanks, Mom. This blanket exercise is actually just one of the many different types of interactive experiences that the men can engage in the MKP community. And I think it's that this type of interactive engagement that has made this men's community so successful for 30 years. Engagement in activities that give their members continually evolving opportunities to grow, helps them feel good about themselves. And I suspect that's what gives MKP its longevity and its appeal. The opportunity for growth and to feel good is also what gives unity its appeal and its longevity. I mean, oh my gosh, 100 years, if that isn't longevity, what is? And looking at the longevity of these two organizations specifically, and looking at the number of communities I've seen that barely sustain themselves, or the number of communities that have actually dissolved. I've seen 2 spiritual communities actually just disappear in the 2 decades that I've been here in Calgary. So I started to do some analysis. What is it? What makes some communities flourish and grow, while some just barely manage to hang on and some dissolve? So I thought, let's begin by looking at what it is that draws people to look for a community in the first place. I suspect that what draws people is the feeling that something is missing in their lives. They have a little hole that needs to be filled. They're not sure exactly what it is, so they look for people who have common interests, common attitudes, common goals, and common values. That's what draws people to community. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. Yeah. John Donne said, no man is an island, right? No man wants to feel alone. No person wants to feel alone in this world. So we seek out community to enrich our human experience. And I had to smile to myself because Katie used that word. We come together to enrich our lives, right? This is why we're here. Anyone who is attracted to unity is attracted to people with positive values. We value a positive outlook on life. We agree that conscious awareness is critical to a fulfilling way of life. We value true connection with others. Have you noticed that we make eye contact with one another and we hug a lot in this community? We love that sense of connection. We believe that all life is sacred. We know that every individual is a distinct expression of that one source of all life. So, as I like to refer to it, source of all, we refer to that one source as God at Unity. Whatever name you give it, there is that greater power, and that greater power resides within us. So by a show of hands, how many of you were attracted to this Unity community because of those values and attitudes? Yeah, all of us, right? That's what brought us here. It is the commonality of interests and values that draws people to any community. So what is it that keeps people in the community? Where does the desire to stay in that community and actually help it grow come from? I believe that a community needs to fulfill 4 needs in order for that community to actually not only sustain itself, but grow. And here's where I get to go, can I borrow the clicker? Thank you. So I think it goes like that. Oh, not like that. It goes like, nope. Or that. Oh, or that.
It's gotta be there
Is it there somewhere, Chad? Where is he?
Keep going.
No.
No.
Maybe not. Oh, you don't get to see them.
Oh.
So you can just, sorry.
Slides didn't make it.
Apparently the slides didn't make it. So I better go back so that poor Katie doesn't have all that catch up to play. So before we get to the meditation, can you just imagine you can see these words? A variety of feel-good experiences to engage in. The communities that I've seen fall apart have one thing going. You come on Sunday, you listen to somebody talk, and you go home. those communities never made it. The communities that have a whole variety of things for you to engage in hold people's interests. And my goodness, we do a pretty darn good job here, don't we? We've got our potluck Sunday, we've got our healing circle, we have our book club groups that Claude has been leading. There was the choir that Patty was leading. What am I missing? What have we had going on here? We have so many opportunities. Movie night, the classes, concerts. We had our comedy fundraiser. Wow, that was adding a whole new sense of zest to what we were doing in our community.
Peace walk.
The Peace Walk. How can I not mention the Peace Walk? Something I've been organizing for 6 years that means so much to me. Because it brings people, and with the Peace Walk, there were people from the Unity community who met me downstairs in the classroom, and we decorated the rocks that we handed out to people and left along the route. There's a lot of stuff that we get to choose from and do here, which keeps us a pretty interesting community. Would you agree? Yeah. So the second need that needs to be filled is opportunities to continually evolve and grow. Unless the community challenges you a little bit and helps you to grow, it's not going to hold your interest as much. And again, Unity shines here. There are online courses that you can take through the Unity Global Organization. We have our own classes here. There's the resources of the bookstore. There are so many ways to learn and grow through Unity, not the least of which is affirmative prayer, right? When we come to understand affirmative prayer truly is the highest form of creative thought, and we can experience a heightened level of awareness through that affirmative prayer and through meditation. The more we listen to the teachings and the principles of unity, the more we grow and develop as an individual. And that's part of what keeps us coming back as well. The third need that needs to be filled is a clear vision and strong leadership. How many of you would be right on board with getting on a ship that has a really indecisive captain? It has no rudder to steer it, no planned course of sense of direction. Would you be really excited about jumping on board that ship? Who knows where you'd end up?
I think that ship.
Yeah, you'd be afraid it's going to sink. And that is, again, what happens when there is no clear vision and no strong leadership. Communities sink. So we are so blessed here in Calgary. We have a sturdy ship with a very clear direction. And we not only have a captain, but a team of captains, our board and our spiritual leadership team, that take us into that direction. They keep us on board with understanding what our vision and our mission is. I think it's brilliant. I remember when we first started, I can tell this tale, he's not here. When we first started coming to Unity, my husband went, why do they have to do that every single week? The vision, the mission, over and over and over. You don't get it, huh? That's what helps make everyone understand at a cellular level. That is why we are here. When we understand our raison d'etre, our reason for being, then we are engaged and we want to stay. We want to be part of this. When we understand there's a bigger reason. You can tease him a little when he gets back.
Yeah.
So I have a story to tell that actually addresses this really well. There was a farmer who grew excellent quality wheat, and every season he won an award for the best wheat in the county. One year a reporter decided he wanted to interview that farmer because he learned that each spring that man shared his seeds, his own award-winning wheat seeds, with all of his neighbors so that they could plant that seed too. The reporter was so confused. How can you afford to share your best wheat with your neighbors when they're entering their crops in the same competition as you? And the farmer said, that's so simple. The wind picks up pollen from the developing wheat and it carries it from field to field. If my neighbors grow inferior wheat, cross-pollination will steadily degrade the quality of all the wheat, including mine. If I am to grow good wheat, I must help my neighbors grow good wheat as well. The reporter realized how the farmer's explanation also applied to people's lives in the most fundamental way. Those who want to live meaningfully and well must help enrich the lives of others, for the value of life is measured by the lives it touches. The value of life is measured by the lives it touches. And we talked about this yesterday at the Peace Walk too. Just offering someone a smile, a kind word. You never know how it can change their day or their life. We can enrich people's quality of lives in the simplest of ways. Those who choose to be happy must help others find happiness. For the welfare of each is bound up with the welfare of all. Which brings us to the fourth need the community must fill. Yay. Somehow you're in cahoots with that greater spirit so that this keeps crashing, so that you get to keep bringing it up and being the hero over and over, right? Yes. Oh dear. Okay, opportunities to make a contribution or make a difference in the world. Once our basic needs are taken care of, the higher level need to make a positive difference in the world pulls at our heartstrings. When a community provides opportunities to be in service that are meaningful to you, then you can't help but be engaged and drawn into that community in a bigger way. You will be more committed, and you will even talk about that community with others and encourage growth. Do you see that? When there is a sense of meaningful opportunity in your community, it will speak to your heart, and then you will speak to others. And that is how communities thrive and flourish. Here, again, within our Unity community, there are a multitude of ways to contribute. There are the people who greet people with a hug at the door. There are the people who come in early and set up the chairs and lay down the stage and pull out the all this stuff has to happen every Sunday. This isn't here all week. And then at the end, it all has to be cleaned up and put away, and somebody hauls out all the books and sets up the bookstore. The ladies make the coffee, the tea. There's so much that has to be done. The people who come up the aisle and use the collection bowls. What are the other ways we contribute?
Music team.
The music team. Yes. The
Service board meeting.
yes, the board meetings, the people who help out at movie nights,
Dishwashers.
the dishwashers at the back of the room,
Facebook.
yeah, all the online stuff that happens, reading the daily word, on and on it goes, right? So many ways to serve in what seem like little ways. And yet for those who understand the importance of those little things to keep our community running, there's quite the opportunity to feel like you're making a major contribution that way. Yes? Yes. Now, there are some people who feel like they want to make a contribution in an even bigger way. They want a bigger reach. Well, we sort of address that too, because at Christmas time, we choose a charity and we take all of the monies that we collect and we donate that to that charity, and we know that our money will help that charity do more service and bring more good into the world. So we're helping at a bigger level. And I'd like to suggest that we could fulfill the need to make a bigger difference by considering developing or engaging in projects that take us out into the bigger community, the community of Calgary that we live in. Perhaps projects that impact a larger population than those who are here on Sunday morning. Projects like the Peace Walk yesterday that engage people from all walks of life may make us feel like we are doing something even bigger for the greater good in a bigger way, and create yet another compelling reason to draw more people into our community, to help us grow, and to help us want to stay forever. My experience has been that when communities fall short of fulfilling all four of these needs, what were they again? A variety of feel-good experiences to engage in. Again, Unity shines at doing this, and just like the MKP shines at this. There's a whole variety of different opportunities to engage, and those opportunities to grow and evolve make us feel good. Similarities between MKP and Unity. And then here we have our clear vision and strong leadership. And now, the opportunity to make a difference or make a contribution. I'm going to wake Anthony up now, because pretty soon. I am going to pose a question to each and every one of you to ponder. How do we work together to develop that all-important sense of contribution that will see this community flourish in an even bigger way? How do we work together to develop that all-important sense of contribution that will help us see this community flourish? So we're going to take us into meditation with...
I snuck it behind. I thought you were going to do it before, so it's before yours.
Oh, got it. Thank you. We just
I
like
want
to...
to say one thing.
Yep.
Today is the most worst Sunday I've ever had. It's been a horrible day, and that everybody's going, "You're such a hero."
So what are we going to do? Which song are we going to sing?
It just says meditation because Anthony got the words to me late last night.
Okay, no worries.
One more after that. There we go.
So what song are we going to sing?
Okay, well, we're going to sing Blessing to the World.
Okay.
The lyrics are, you are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth. And who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. And the next one is we, and the next one is I.
Perfect as always. Thank you, Anthony.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you taught, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world. And I invite you to relax, perhaps close your eyes, feel both your feet on the earth and your hands relaxed. Let your body relax as you take a deep breath into your belly, down past your heart and your lungs, right into the heart of who you are, into the belly, and releasing all the tension and stress on the exhale. As you connect with the breath that is life itself, you remember your true essence, the true essence of who you are, born of the one source of all, that is divine, unconditional love, that beats in your heart and flows out into the world and allows you to make a difference. just being who you are. Remember that as a distinct expression of the one true source. Who you are really does make a difference. The love and the peace that you carry in your heart can flow out from your heart into your body and fill you with a sense that everything is all right. In this moment, all is well, and everything is all right. Feeling that sense of the perfection of life, just as it is. I invite you to take a moment and allow your higher self to speak to your heart. What is it that will make you feel even more like you are growing into your fullest potential? What is it that would make you feel like you are part of something bigger, that gives you that sense of belonging and purpose, and the sense of satisfaction that comes from making a contribution in the world? There are a multitude of ideas that are floating on the airwaves around us. Be open to receiving the idea that speaks to your heart and causes a spark of excitement. This would feel good to do. This would feel good to be. And just be with it. Allow those ideas to come. Allow your heart to grow with appreciation and gratitude for this love and peace that is always there for you to access in any moment, that allows you to be in that space of receiving the messages that speak to your heart. Breathe, be, and listen. And I will invite you to slowly come back to being in this room and remain open to the ideas continuing to flow to you throughout the rest of this